Welcome back to Satisfactory. I think we finally have achieved a certain level of certainty on the completeness of the monolith build. We're going to put a little 3-wall high here so we can have our nice base. Like so. And we're going to start by building just the internal parts of this thing. And that little last bit of wall there is part of the overflow, right? This is the internal walkway used exclusively for parts. So we're not going to have any walls or anything there. We'll just have it like that. And then we'll just know, oh, we need 1 meter foundations, a little better. We'll just know to leave that as is. Now, on top of this, we're going to put in, what do you think? Is 3 enough? I mean, 4 would give us just a little bit more room to work. But the fatter the bottom, I feel like the fatter the top has to be. I think 4 is actually the way to go. Let's give ourselves that bit of room. And then just for clarity's sake, we're going to mark these. We're only going to build the internal pieces today. Get everything nice and connected. So that should be 3 by 3. And it is, so that's good. And just for simplicity, temporarily, we're going to build a little some area to allow us to fly a little easier. All right, so we've got this internal blueprint that we want to put in, and we just want to make sure that it's always facing the same direction. We could nudge, but well, and we should have nudged because we got it wrong. Each one of these makes 1 ADU per minute. This is basically a fancy way to put in a manufacturer. right on the line here. And right on the line here. Okay, it's my sincere belief that that is correct. And since it's on a 3x3, it should be okay. To go from there. So let's go ahead and start the blueprint mode action. As usual, the encased beams are going to be our stopping point. And you know what? Technically, let's edit this. We need 40 total, but we're going to act like... So we built 4. We're only going to build 20 first, because we have to connect everything anyway. So 16 is where we are. And that'll make it a little easier to deal with the pieces and parts. Excuse me. Having a heck of a time today. And good news is we have easy access to all of the heavy modular frames that we're going to need for this build, because they're also part of the build itself. Super convenient. Let's see if we can finish off Let's finish off that, and then I've clicked something that's causing this blueprint mode not to show me the contents. Oh, I'm on blueprint, that's why. Okay. And then we'll come over here. Maybe we should connect this a little less temporarily. Let's just go ahead and get this put in place. I think we found a little bit of a rhythm. this is turning out to be a pretty tall tower. Holy moly, this is really getting tall. I don't know if you can tell though, I'm smiling because I'm liking it. This is gonna look really cool once we get the facade in place. Just had a sudden flash that we wanted to make sure that the settings for everything were set up correctly. Now I'm kind of looking for a good place to start vertically connecting. We have to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. The key is listening to the beeps and looking for the lack of an end point, right? If we go too far, it doesn't beep and you can see the end point. See right there? Too far. I hope you can hear the beep. So that is letting me know that it's good to go. But you also have to make sure you can't see the endpoint. It's the other trick. The little hood on the lift. And it is possible for us to run a little bit of a test on this. Kind of thinking about that as I go. Obviously, Ada, in one of your earliest tutorial callouts, tells you to think about vertical farming or vertical factories. Vertical farming. This is taking it maybe to an extreme. But if you didn't care about how it looked, right? If you just said, hey, just give me the factory. I just want to put in the inputs and I want to get the outputs. We're basically done with 1/4 of this. So this is an easy 10 ADUs per minute. So let's think for a moment. This is the internal shell bits. So there's 3 or 4. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because you just build the external part all the way up as far as you can, and then you just put the additional piece up. Then you add the 3 walls or the 4 walls and you're done. But what we want to do is just kind of make sure everything is operating. This could operate as our Let's find the recipe. Can't imagine anything worse than polluting this line. So we're just gonna be on the safe side. Oh look, way over there you can see our initial factory at the top there and our tiny coal tower. And the road off to the mega coal power plant, which is still running, by the way. Just don't have the heart to take it away. Well, there's almost no chance I have automated wiring on me. I have none of these things on me. Okay, well, that's why you check the recipe. Testing is an important part of any factory build. Now, coming from me, I know that's kind of ironic because I sometimes don't test my stuff, or we test together. But in this case, when you're basically gonna seal everything up and set it up so you basically never go back in there, testing becomes key. There's a shockingly wide variety of potential problems. We're gonna need some more computers. And remember, loading everything up to the top of this building is the function of the external piece. So that's why I have to do this manually to drop these off. It's a full boat recipe, so it doesn't matter which one of these gets one of these, just as long as the inputs go in the input side and the outputs go in the output side. Well, the top one works. Obviously, the only one we need to test, other than the top one, is the bottom one. Of course, it's getting manifolded so badly that there might not be enough stuff to make it down here. Just need to see if we have a heavy modular frame and a circuit board. This is part of the reason why I consider putting blueprints with inputs in them, so that way when you build it, you would have everything juiced and ready to go. And that works great until you get weird inputs. Like this actually would be kind of weird. The stacking of computers and heavy modular frames would be as such that it would, and the automated, all of this is terribly stacked except for the circuit boards. So it would be a little inconvenient, but still possible. At least that way we would be, generating these right off the bat. At the very least, we know all of our outers are in place because goods made it to the end. And adaptive control units are making it. And adaptive control units are getting lifted internally to the top. This is the best way to check to make sure all of our lifts were put in properly. Happy to say that they were. I think a big chunk of wire and some good wire and some good encased beams. We get a little bit of this and a little bit of that just as a backup, just in case. You never know what you might end up having to build. Though in this case, we should know exactly what we're going to have to build. Pretty good so far. Just trying to get into the zen of connecting these. Easy for me to say. Don't feel 100% confident about how that one went in. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could poke around in here. But this blueprint is so tight. I mean, I guess I could have put in... Nope. There might be a very small vertical shaft in here, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. All right. Normally I'd say, hey, it's perfect, and move on, but let's take a peek. We're actually okay on time. Yeah, there's really no easy way to put stuff in here. And a lot of our stuff is actually pretty empty. If we build one face of this that has all the inputs on it, we could test. Since I've tested successfully this side, this corner, what we'll do is we'll lift everything we need to build everything else on this corner, right? And we can basically encase this column, and I'm going to mark it as this is our green for good column. That is to say, this column has been tested, green, working. And then when it comes back to building the rest of this, we'll put the facade up on this corner, lift everything up, get the distribution going up here. And then test these other pieces before we put those facades on. Yes, I think that's perfect. That's... Uh-oh. Some of the mobs respawned. Let's find our blueprint. What do we call it? Mono ADU internal. We've built 20. Let's build 20 more. We're going to get hit by hatcheries. Oh yeah, that's right. Heavy modular frames are already on site, so I didn't move any additional ones. We'll have to double back and find them. 240. All right, so now we'll face this one ideally in the same direction as the other ones. Let's give ourselves the benefit of a nudge. Yep, good thing. Right there. Totally missed that time. One of these power pieces has to be ready to go. First one we tried was full. There we go. Encased industrial beams. It's the most prolific item that we're using, and also the worst item to stack that we're using. Oh, 2 encased beams short. And now, just from a standpoint of being lazy, we're just going to grab it from here. And by lazy, I mean, of course, efficient. Just checking to make sure this is flat and flush with our previous build. I know this is kind of a different style of YouTube video, and primary thing that's different about what we're doing here is we're working, you know, trying to put together some new stuff. The monolith style, building computer factories that look like computers. Actually, it looks pretty cool from here. That one is just the classic. That looks really good. But don't let me get distracted. So it's a lot of experimentation is what I'm getting at. And experimentation takes time, and sometimes experiments work and sometimes they don't. Like our supercomputer factory didn't work out, but we learned a lot. It didn't work out by like 3/8 of a foundation. That's the funny part about it. It's just a tiny bit off. Just threw the whole thing out of whack. But that led us to making this internal blueprint 3 by 3 max. With that clarity of budget, this should work perfectly. Right now the facade, you know, I'm tempted to try to put one of those in, but we're not gonna. We're gonna be disciplined. We're gonna belt this thing. And then we're gonna call it. Yeah, it's much easier when you do one thing at a time. Multitasking is a myth. I wonder if I can find a spot where I can do both sides of this. Go up to the next level. Not bad. Not perfect. I think the rhythm is top to bottom. If you wanted to save mouse strokes, you could go top, bottom, then while you're at the bottom. But I think it's just better quality, as in you're more likely to do the clicks right if you do the same motion every time, as opposed to half going up and half going down. That was a total miss. Nope. And we are done. So when it comes time to... What a beautiful view. This map, this game. It's just so good looking. Yeah, we can see our super big coal power factory way over there. Our tiny one there. Our original base here. Our computer factory. Our motors factory. Our refinery. And now, the first half of our Adaptive Control Unit factory, 40 units per minute. Okay, we'll do one. Since we have all this stuff good to go and connected from below, we can delete that stuff. Oh, we got a floater here. What did I call? Probably the ADS, right? Ooh. This is why you shouldn't get greedy. Monolith assembly outer shell. That sounds like something I would call it. Let's see if we've got the stuff for this. And we might not, because we aren't planning on this. Yeah, I don't think I brought the silica out yet. So we're definitely going to have to wait until the next episode. It's kind of beautiful in its own way. Thanks for hanging out. That's 40 adaptive control units ready to start being built at any time. Just need to feed it a bunch of supplies. We'll see you next time.